Welcome back to Hoops HD, everybody. It is day 11 of Championship Week, and this is our Championship Week video notebook, the only source you need for anything about college basketball.
Don't
This is where we learn what we're going to talk about tonight. This is where you can learn it as well.
you don't I mean you don't need to watch the games even. You don't need to do anything. You just need to watch us. We'll tell you everything.
We are going to be going over all the conference tournament games. We're going to be previewing all the games that are coming up tomorrow, which would be, I
A
guess,
lot.
Friday here. Uh,
Yeah.
and on top of that, we began our Hoops HD mock tournament selection committee. Mr. Salika, you are our reporter on this. Let you turn it over to you. What happened today at our mock committee?
So basically, as the stenographer, our first order of business was we did a brief scrubbing of the under consideration board. So regular season winners from under the radar conferences, with the exception of Appalachian State, were scrubbed off the board, and we also named our Stallings and Centenary Award winners. So
Wait. The winners are, let's go here. Ready? First of all, the Centenary Award winner is, drum roll,
Mississippi Valley State,
Yeah, no
and the
surprise there.
Stallings Award winner.
even less of a surprise, the DePaul Blue Demons.
Yes.
All right,
So
awesome. Congratulations.
Chad, do we have the board? I mean, can we show them?
Of what we did tonight?
Yeah.
Give me a second. While Slika keeps talking, let me see if I can
Yeah.
get that up on the screen here.
So
That's a good
basically,
idea.
what happened is we had, in addition to the 14 automatic bids, have currently won bids. Our committee not sent two lists to our committee chairman, Chad Sherwood. One of them was going to be our first ballot of teams, and then the other one was a list of teams that were under consideration. So on the first ballot, we had 20 teams that initially made the cut, and during our selection committee meetings, we also had three separate rounds of voting where we added 12 more teams onto the at-large board. And as you also notice where it says Big 12, we are guaranteed not to have a bid thief in that conference. So there is going to be one team that comes off of the at-large board and goes on to the automatic bid portion of the selection board here.
Right. So where we are right now, we do have 32 at-large bids in. We have, looks like 24 teams remaining on the nomination board, plus our Centenary and Stallings Award winners, plus three carryover teams, TCU, Colorado State, and St. John's. So our next order of business tomorrow night is probably going to be at least put four teams, maybe put more than four in, and begin seeding up to maybe even the top eight seed lines,
Yeah.
depending on how far we get.
And as a point of procedure, we also had Florida Atlantic, who was a carryover in one round of voting, but because they failed to make the selection board for two straight runs, they were added back to the nomination board for the time being.
Yep, there they are back at the nomination board. I still think they're going to get in. There's still
I
not
think
only are there five spots open the at-large bids. If you see way over on the right here, I made a little note after we're done. We could have six, even seven more spots open up on this at-large bids open up if the teams that are listed there either get voted in or get eliminated from their conference tournaments. So we'll see what happens there. Let's go ahead and pull that down. And let's go to the other screen share now that I gotta rearrange my screens again. But that was our recap of, oh geez,
the
where are we here?
yeah, that was the
You
recap of
you
the
see
the Hoops HD committee.
the
So this is what we're
Hoops HD committee. Things are running a little bit slow here because uh, I'm not certain what's going on. Do we see what comes up here? Did the puppet
That's
bunker
the
come up?
public, but yeah,
Okay,
that's where I
okay,
am,
great.
unfortunately.
Salika just gave us the recap of the Hoops HD committee. You're going to provide us now with a recap, and we've got a little visual for this also of what the actual selection committee did today, correct?
Yes, so this is what the committee in Indianapolis, the NCAA committee, is doing. We have their activities for the day here, and it's a little different than ours, but we just like, okay, so at 8:30 this morning they woke up and they met for breakfast in like the meeting room. It was catered by the hotel restaurant, as you can see there. There was an issue though, and I mean this is just a horrible way to start out because there wasn't enough biscuits and gravy for everybody. They had a lot of food in there, like bacon and eggs and pancakes and what, but not enough biscuits and gravy. Our good friend David Warlock had to get involved, and they arranged for more to be brought in. Uh, and then after that, like they took a break after breakfast, just a 2-hour break. Then after their break, they met for lunch. It was surf and turf today, so
Ooh,
again,
nice
they're meet.
lunch.
Yeah, nice lunch. Then shortly after lunch was their afternoon ice cream social. This goes on every day. So like, but I mean, they did do a little work here. You see 415 to 417, they actually checked the Hoops HD survival board to see if anything had changed from the night before. When they saw that nothing had, because we don't update it till night, they just kind of went about their business again. Then they were going to go check the scores of the games from this afternoon to see how those went, but they got distracted. A rerun of MASH came on. And
Is that the episode where Klinger dresses as a woman?
it may have been. I don't know. I didn't say. Like, I was working with you all. Like, somebody's got to do the work. And then, like, another group activity, they watched a movie as a group. They couldn't agree on what to watch, Die Hard or Beverly Hills Cop. Sometimes this committee has a hard time making decisions. That's why we're here, to help them. Then after the movie, it was dinner and then another ice cream social. And then right before they knocked off for the day, they checked the Hoops HD survival board again.
All right, and they updated their tournament board in accordance with the Hoops HD board.
Right. Yes, they did. So I mean, a real busy, a lot of activities today.
Let's get to the games on the court then. Can we do that? We got something more.
Yes. Well, I was just going to say, you see why we have to do what we do.
And we'll be updating our selection board for you, our survival board for you at the end of the show, and talking about that as well. Let's get to the court here. And you know what? I'm going to go a little bit out of order from what we see in the bottom screen there, because I think we got to go to the conference of the day. Maybe the conference of championship week so far. Actually, almost definitely is. Let's start things off in the Atlantic 10, where we had, again, a crazy day. If we talk about the 3 first-round games were great games, other than the Duquesne St. Louis game, the second-round games were great games. Today, 4 for 4 in upsets, including a double overtime special thrown in there, Griggs.
Yeah, Loyola Chicago and the Bonnies just put on a show. It was it for a moment it looked like Loyola had it won. They fouled. Was it a 3-point shooter at a crucial moment? St. Bonaventure made all 3 free throws. I've even forget what
Daryl Banks is a great game. The shooter for the Bonnies. Yes.
Yeah, and I mean it was just back and forth and nip and tuck the whole way. VCU was that was a better game than what the score indicated, but I mean a kind of an impressive performance for them. Joe's, we figured that they would give Richmond fits, and they did. A really strong finish there, and then Duquesne knocking off Dayton, which Dayton probably still inside the bubble in the 8, 9, 10 seed range, probably 8 or 9. But how about this? The inverse of chalk. We've got a 9 versus 5 and a 6 versus 7 teams that are nowhere near the bubble, but one of them's getting in.
And this is not terribly unprecedented for the A10.
No, it's not.
If you go back to 2006, the quarterfinal bracket was also upside down that year.
Yeah. I believe that was the year your team won it still.
That is correct. And that is the last time Xavier even won a conference tournament, which is hard to believe.
Yeah.
So we are now set with St. Joe's VCU and the Bonnies Duquesne. Nobody called it. Well, actually, I called VCU to win this event, but nobody called anything else that happened in this event. Conference actually has tomorrow off, though. Day off. They'll be coming back Saturday with the semifinals. We'll talk about those again tomorrow night in a little more detail. Let's go back and run through the rest of the leagues, though. ACC night. Sleeka, North Carolina, and Pitt in the afternoon session. Pitt almost gave up a big lead in that game, but found a way to hold on. But then Duke was the story of the night, I think.
Well, in this case, NC State was actually the story, because I believe this is the first time since 2010 where a double-digit seed has ended up making the semifinals of the ACC, and is definitely the first time that someone has gotten out of the first round in the 15-team format to advance to the semifinals. And we came real close to seeing NC State and Boston College in the semifinal, but alas, BC appeared to run out of gas, and Virginia ended up outlasting the Eagles in overtime.
Yeah, Mason Matson with a shot at the buzzer to tie it up, but to get it to overtime, but it was all Virginia in the OT. Griggs.
Yeah, it was Boston College, and I realized when you start out in the first round, you're not playing the best teams, but they looked really good throughout this whole tournament. Had they played like this all year long, they wouldn't have needed to win it to get in. Uh, Took them a little while to get their motors
Great.
started.
Great run. Now we got North Carolina, Pitt, NC State, which is the Cinderella story here against Virginia tomorrow. Stalika and Pitt, I don't think they're in yet with this win, but they've been North Carolina, and I think we're very serious about them.
Well, when North Carolina was down, even bad teams from Pitt actually had the Tar Heels number. Now, that did change a bit this year with Carolina getting a blowout win at the Oakland Zoo, but obviously going to be a completely different environment here. So, my guess is North Carolina and Virginia probably move on, but I wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit more chaos out of the ACC.
I think Virginia better beware. I think Virginia's been very vulnerable all season, and Griggs, I'm calling. I think NC State knocks off the Hoos before losing to North Carolina in the finals.
Well, yeah, judging by how they've played in the tournament, we said that about Boston College. The same is true for NC State. Knocked off a Syracuse team that had been playing really well, and then really good game today against Duke. Probably the best they've played all year. I'm with you. I think NC State gets by Virginia and goes to the final.
Uh, it was quarterfinal round day in the. Oh, let's hit that button there. In the Big East, and Sleek, I'll start with you because your Xavier Musketeers got out to a 10-0 lead against UConn, and you don't want to piss off UConn, though.
Well, basically, the story of this series was Xavier played actually three halfway decent halves against the Huskies, and then there were three halves where UConn was just on another planet. And I believe they have made their last 15 shots in a row against a Xavier defense that had just completely run out of gas in the Lincoln Tunnel.
Yeah, St. John's really pulled away from Seton Hall in the second half. Now, Seton Hall, like we mentioned last night, they're going to be sweating a little on Sunday. We still think they're probably going to make it, but I think St. John's should feel a little more comfortable. And Griggs Providence did phase one of what they need to do. I don't know if that's still enough for them, though. They may need to beat Marquette tomorrow as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think in order to feel safe, they do, but at least they gave themselves a chance. Like it went from probably out to squarely on the bubble with the win today, and that's a good Creighton team that they beat. That's really going to help them out. If they win tomorrow, I think that's enough.
I don't think we've had any other bubble teams that have won a game against a protected seed like this, and Providence now has 2 wins against Creighton, so it is a bit of an ace in a hole when you're measuring them up against other teams around the cut line.
Marquette, incredible out of bounds play, pass then into a shot by Cam Jones to win it at the end of regulation. After 3 hours of review, they ruled that the ball left his fingers by half of a tenth of a second too late, basically. So we thought that Marquette had stolen the game from Villanova, but Marquette did find the way in the overtime, and Villanova, who's had about 1 million lives, Griggs, I think they're out of lives. I don't think they're making the big dance. Griggs?
I think we've frozen Griggs.
We have frozen Griggs. John, I don't think they're making the big dance.
I don't think Villanova is going to be making the big dance, but I do think, like I said, I would still give Providence an edge at this point, barring any other bid thieves coming out.
Yep.
And Griggs is past his curfew again.
We'll try to get the video to the puppet bunker back here in a moment. But John, let's go through the rest of this. What do you think about tomorrow's games? UConn, St. John's, Providence, Marquette.
I think this could be an interesting semifinal here. St. John's, I mean, last year they did actually pull an upset at UConn, and they came close on a couple of occasions here, but I do think it's going to be a little bit too much for them to overcome the Huskies. And if we're looking at the nightcap, I actually do think Providence is going to prevail in this one, especially with Tyler Kolek still out of the Marquette lineup.
Yeah, that makes Providence really interesting if they beat Marquette, because I think it'll be hard to keep them out even if they do lose it to UConn in the finals.
Or beat a shorthanded Marquette team for that matter.
Mm-hmm. Big Ten, it was second round day. Do we have the puppet back yet?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, yeah. The
Okay.
lights went out here in the bunker. Well, they actually blinked, but it knocked the computers and the internet stuff down, and it's resetting. So,
Well,
uh,
you think we have a good power supply here in the puppet bunker? Come on,
no,
Griggs. I
we
mean,
clearly do not.
you're lucky. You're lucky. You even get dial-up modem out there. Um,
Yeah,
the Big Ten tournament, Griggs. Uh, let's start with the two early games. Michigan State uh, took care of Minnesota. Wisconsin took care of Maryland as well. Both doing what they needed to do.
yeah. So yeah, Michigan, yeah, they both held serve and got through to the next round. Nothing too exciting or out of the ordinary there. So,
Okay.
this tournament is going to pick up. I think the big game here was Indiana's, man.
Yeah. Well, Ohio State keeping that Cinderella story alive still after the coaching change probably ended Iowa's season. I don't know that they can
Yeah.
get in now, but Indiana, Penn State, neither team was even on the bubble. But Anthony Leo with 5 seconds left, Griggs
Yeah.
got the win for the Hoosiers.
Yeah, it was one of those games. Neither team was on the bubble, and you just felt like even the winner wasn't going to get by the next round. But it was still an exciting game to watch. And Indiana with some momentum going in against Nebraska tomorrow.
Yeah, well, what do you well, Sleek, what do you think about these four games tomorrow? Do you see any seeding upsets? Michigan State try to knock off Purdue, Wisconsin, Northwestern. I think that might be a coin flip game. Ohio State, can they keep it going? And Indiana can they keep it going against Illinois and Nebraska, respectively?
I could easily see both games in the bottom half of the bracket being upside down here. I don't trust Nebraska away from home whatsoever, and Ohio State, they have all the momentum in the world against an Illinois team. Probably not going to be at their sharpest yet, but next week is when the Illini fans will really want to be on their game.
hmm Uh, Big 12, it was quarterfinal round day. Houston, not much problem with TCU. They began 16 and 0, 16-0 right to start the game. It was over. It was over at that point. Uh, it,
It may have been over before that.
actually, look at the final score. They start out 16 to 60, up 16 nothing. TCU won the rest of the game by 1 point.
Yeah. So from that point on, they outplayed them.
Yeah, they did. Texas Tech took care of BYU without much trouble. I was kind of surprised at how easily Texas Tech took care of BYU. Same thing, Iowa State over Kansas State and Baylor. Cincinnati maybe a little bit in that game. Really a disappointing day, but Griggs, I think we got a great day tomorrow with Houston, Texas Tech, and Iowa State Baylor.
Yeah, the
This
Houston
is
Texas
Final
Tech
Four
game.
good
Yeah,
tomorrow.
it is. And can Texas? I mean, the thing is, no one has really challenged Houston in about a month. Does Texas Tech have it in them to at least make the game competitive? I mean, they've been blowing out everyone.
I'll tell you that if Texas Tech plays the way that they played tonight, today, tomorrow, Houston better be on watch here.
Yeah,
Uh, in the Pac-12, Griggs, let me stick with you here. Arizona, no problem with USC, but the Oregon UCLA game, UCLA made a big comeback late. It almost stole this thing at the buzzer.
yeah, they did. I mean, they fell behind early. It was a low-scoring affair. It was defensive, or oriented as you would expect out of this. And UCLA, kind of a disappointing season, really underperformed, especially when they had like some moments early on where it looked like they were really going to be strong. Um, but Oregon marches on. Now, I think Oregon needs to win the tournament to get in, but even if they just
Agreed.
knock off Arizona tomorrow, it's going to change the complexion of their profile. And is that someone that the committee takes a close look at if they get by Arizona tomorrow?
I think it's worth a discussion. I'm still not quite there. Stalika, Washington State took care of Stanford. Colorado also took care of Utah. Is this enough for the Buffs, who have now won 7 in a row, including taking care of another probably former bubble team in Utah tonight?
I would say I'm about 90% sure Colorado's in, 100% sure, as you mentioned, that Utah done for the year. They can start looking forward to the NIT in that regard.
Yeah, I really think this Colorado team is in now, and I think that we're going to be voting them into the field tomorrow night. They were discussed a lot during our mock committee this evening, even if they did not quite get in yet. Uh, if they beat Washington State tomorrow, they may go to lock status, Griggs.
Yeah. I mean, if they, if they win that game, and again, the Buffs, I mean, they sort of floundered through parts of the season, but they really played well tonight, and I think they can beat Wazoo tomorrow.
It was second round day in the SEC today. Mississippi State did what they needed to do to take care of LSU. South Carolina kind of rolled. A&M keeping their bubble chances alive with the win over Ole Miss, and Florida played like they did against Vanderbilt at the end of the regular season when they lost that game. I somehow they came back and won it though, Griggs.
Yeah. Yeah, Florida just kind of sleptwalked today. They were down for most of it, and if they play like that tomorrow, it will not. They will not win. It will not. They will not be in that one for long.
I'll tell you, Sleeka, when you look at these four games tomorrow, this is the conference I may be most excited about tomorrow. Tennessee, Mississippi State, Auburn, South Carolina, Kentucky A&M, Alabama, Florida.
I just hope the ends of the games don't take as long as it did for a Georgia-Florida game that seemed to drag on for what was about 3 hours locally. But
Yeah.
as far as we're looking ahead to tomorrow, clearly Mississippi State, they could really use one more win to feel safe about their own chances. Texas A&M, they're in absolute must-win mode, and Florida, again, they just want to probably get another win just so they can at least be assured of being in the top half of the bracket right now.
I think I agree with everything he just said. I think we just move on. Auburn, South Carolina, also. I think that'll be a real good game. I think South Carolina's going to knock off Auburn tomorrow. Over in the American, it was second round day. East Carolina took care of Tulsa. In the late games, both Temple and North Texas won. And then in the game that was probably the most important game because some people still thought Memphis might be somewhere near the bubble, Wichita State beat them. We get a couple good game, some good games. Go ahead, Salika.
I was just going to say, if Memphis was also going to exit stage right, they were joined by the Mustangs. Whatever minute chance they had also disappeared with a 15-point thrashing by a Temple team that just had not looked good at all this year.
I didn't think SMU had any shot short of winning this event anyhow, but we now have UAB, Wichita State, and Charlotte Temple are both, teams that are just playing to keep their seasons alive, but South Florida, East Carolina, and Florida Atlantic, North Texas are both fascinating games, especially this FAU North Texas game, Griggs. I would not be shocked if North Texas wins this and it makes this just a solid two-bid league between whoever wins the event and themselves.
Right. If North Texas does beat FAU, you saw we hadn't put them in yet. They've been projected in the most fields all year long, including ours, but the bracket is not the bracket. Their resume is flimsy. Are they sweating if they don't get by North Texas? And they may not.
I don't think they're sweating, but I think they should get themselves ready for an 8-9 game as the 9 seed, possibly a 7-10 game as the 10 seed. You saw they're not in yet. You saw that there's probably another 8 or 9 spots. I think they definitely get one of those spots even with a loss, but it should be interesting. They win this game tomorrow. Actually, I think they got to win this event to be to be really secure with a decent seed. But so we'll see. They could move up a couple of seed lines by winning this event just because they don't suffer a bad loss.
Right.
Let's go over to the. Well, we said the A10 was upside down. Sleeka, the Mid-American, started the day upside down as well, with the 8 and the 5 seed both pulling off upsets.
Upside down from a seeding perspective, but I did warn it's not wise to trust Toledo in an event like this. Now, granted, I did not think they would fall this early, but I know I've had a couple family members happy that Bowling Green has moved on, but I have an inevitable feeling we're probably going to end up with the wagon wheel once more when all is said and done.
Akron versus Kent State. I'm fascinated by this Akron, Ohio versus Ohio game tomorrow night. Enrique Freeman had a great game for Akron tonight with 30 and 12, but Toledo has been the 1 seed now for 4 consecutive seasons in the MAC, and they have 0 MAC tournament championships out of that. That's kind of a shame for them.
in another early exit, and it is just one of those unfortunate things. They're sort of the one of the more unrewarded teams in all of college basketball. 4 first place finishes and no NCAA tournaments to show for it. I don't know. I mean, they don't win quite enough during the regular season to get in without the auto bid, and then they can't win the auto bid.
Yep. But I think we have a pair of good games. I think Kent Bowling Green's going to be a good game also. I'm actually going to go with
Yeah.
Bowling Green. I'm going against Sleek on that one. I'm going Akron and Bowling Green tomorrow.
Are you really?
Yeah.
I'm going Ohio, and I think I'm going Ohio and Kent. I'm going the complete opposite of you.
Oh, you could be wrong. You've got a right to be wrong.
Yeah.
Conference USA, we had the last two quarterfinals today. Liberty had a 12-point lead at one point over UTEP and completely fell apart. Kind of like their season. They started out really good and completely fell apart. While Western Kentucky had no problem at all with New Mexico State. Setting up tomorrow, Griggs, Sam Houston versus UTEP, and 100 miles of hate between Middle Tennessee and Western Kentucky, 100 miles further south down in Rocket City for Rocket City Madness.
Yeah. And again, the way that this kind of tournament is, the brackets sort of collapsed a little bit with, but Western Kentucky, a talented team. I think there's somebody that we thought was underperforming a little bit. They have a wide open path to at least get to the championship game. And Sam Houston, they did not struggle at all against FIU, whereas Liberty and La Tech and some of the other teams did not step up to the plate in the quarters. They did. I think they roll tomorrow.
Okay, it was Big West. We had, I guess we'll call this the quarterfinal round day today. Hawaii took care of Northridge. Long Beach took care of Riverside. Anything you took away from either one of these games, Stalika?
Well, I know we had thought Northridge probably had the momentum, but Hawaii showed that I guess their regular season performance overall, not that much of a fluke, but I think the matchup to look forward to tomorrow is going to be the black and blue matchup between Irvine and the Beach.
We love this
Yeah,
rivalry. Great rivalry. Go ahead, Griggs.
Yeah, always a fun rivalry. Both these games, particularly Beach and Riverside, that was a good game for about 32, 33 minutes. It wasn't until the very end that they really opened it up. So score a little not as indicative of how good the game was.
The late game, I'm going UC Davis because they're my pick to win this entire event. So
Yeah.
I think they do take care of Hawaii. I'm surprised Hawaii won today, but shout out to them. They did what they needed to. Also out west, out in Las Vegas, we had the WAC same round. I guess we're calling this the quarterfinal round.
Yeah.
Seattle had no problem with California Baptist. And how about Texas Arlington set a WAC tournament record with 109 points, 30 from Philip Russell as they crushed Stephen F. Austin.
Yeah. A pair of really exciting games in the opening round. Our friend and colleague Rocco Miller was there on hand for the opening round. I don't think he was there today, or was he?
No.
Not as good today.
Not nearly as good today.
Yeah.
Grand Canyon lost it to Seattle once this year.
They did.
And Tarleton against Texas Arlington. We got a Texas battle and a further west battle, I guess, here, right?
Yes. And Tarleton, a really good team. We talked about how Grand Canyon, we thought they were the best team in this conference. They're the overall number 1 seed, but of the 3 teams left in the tournament, other than them, 2 of them are teams that beat them. So kind of wide open.
I'll throw this out here also. If Grand Canyon loses that early game, do not go eliminating them from any boards anywhere, because should Tarleton win this event, they are ineligible, and Grand Canyon gets the automatic bid. So Grand Canyon does not need to win this event to go to the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
They just need Tarleton to win it. And if Grand Canyon plays Tarleton Saturday night, 11:30 game, it'll be a game to watch, but it will have zero meaning in terms of automatic bids.
Right. So
the selection committee, I'm sure the selection committee is hoping for that, so they can just put Grand Canyon in and move on and not have to wait for that result.
Maybe so, yeah. But I mean, Grand Canyon can wrap this up tomorrow if both they and Tarleton win.
Metro Atlantic, Stalika, we had a pair of quarterfinals. We had exactly what we expected in the Rider St. Peter's game, a great game that St. Peter's found a way to win. Actually, Niagara had been up by 10. I'm sorry, wrong game. St. Peter's had been up by 14, but Rider came all the way back, and just barely missed winning at the end there. Niagara had been up 10 on Marist before Marist put that game away.
So unlike the A10, a lot more chalky right here. And even though Quinnipiac didn't have the strongest of finishes in the regular season, I should be able to see them getting past St. Peter's in this one and Fairfield and Marist, even though it looks like a close matchup on paper. Still think Fairfield and Quinnipiac probably move on to the championship.
I am Griggs. I'm going to do what you did to me in the other conference. I'm going completely against. I'm going St. Peter's and Marist tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm going with Quinnipiac as a sentimental pick.
Okay.
I know I picked Fairfield to win it. I guess I'm going to stick with that, but Quinnipiac in the championship game, that would be fun.
Quinnipiac going for their first ever NCAA tournament bid. We'll see if they can win tomorrow and have
Yeah.
that chance on Saturday. Over in the MEAC, two quarterfinals. The Howard Delaware State game, first of all. Howard, not much difficulty really with winning this one. Delaware State, South Carolina State. South Carolina State was up early. Delaware State just pulled away in the second half. For a team that's just a couple of years removed from winning our Centenary Award as the worst team in D1, congrats to them for moving on to at least the semifinal round.
Yeah, real impressive and kind of a surprising win today for Delaware State. But again, Norfolk State, not a whole lot of problems at all with Coppin State. I like this Norfolk State Howard game tomorrow. It wouldn't shock me if Howard competed with them and even he beat them.
Yeah, I agree with that. But Sleek, the other game, I think NC Central is going to take care of Delaware State easily, quite honestly.
Well, NC Central also has a recent history of winning in this event. Like not every year, but they always seem to be in contention. And I think also the last MEAC team to get above the 15 and the 16 lines.
Mm-hmm. It was SWAC. We had a pair of quarterfinal round games. The bottom game there, Texas Southern did what Texas Southern does every year, which is they win in the SWAC tournament. While Bethune-Cookman, a bit of a surprise, knocking off Southern. We don't get the Bayou Classic, but this Bethune team, I've been on their bandwagon for a while now, and here they go. They get a shot at the one seed Grambling tomorrow, Griggs.
Yeah, you have been on, and it was a fun game to watch today. I'm actually kind of excited. It's one of those. It's just sort of a good guy versus good guy game. I like both of them. I think I know who I'm going to be rooting for in the championship. I'll put it that way. It'll be the winner.
Whoever wins this game, I agree with you. Texas Southern bracket opening up for them too. They get the 7 seed Alabama A&M tomorrow, so I think they do advance to the finals as they always do. One more conference. I'd skipped it because we've just been waiting for the final score to go final. Let's see if we got it there. We do. Okay. It was quarterfinal round day in the Mountain West. And Stalika, let's start with the afternoon session. Both games went overtime.
Yeah, in the case of Utah State, they had to sweat against Fresno a lot more than they were expecting and finally pulled away in overtime. As far as the other game, it looked like San Diego State was starting to pull away. They had gotten out to a 9-point lead, I believe, early in the second half before the Rebels made a run themselves and were able to extend the game into overtime. But San Diego State, they still have a little bit of postseason magic remaining from last year's team.
Yeah, Jaden Ledee, 34 points, 16 rebounds for the Aztecs today. Great game for him. Thomas for UNLV had 29 points of his own. He had an incredible game, and that was a really fun game, honestly. In the night games, if Colorado State, if there's any doubt that they were an NCAA tournament team, I don't think there was. I think they took care of it tonight with the win over Nevada and Griggs, New Mexico, who had been falling off the bubble. Huge win for them over Boise.
Yeah, in a Boise team that I've been kind of big on, it's kind of hard to make the case that they're as good as I was trying to say that they were after that performance. But New Mexico State basically led the whole way, and they didn't blow it open. It wasn't as if Boise State didn't have it within arm's reach, but at no point did it ever feel that the Lobos weren't in control.
I agree completely. It really felt like they were. And we're going to have interesting discussions in our mock committee about New Mexico tomorrow, I'm certain. Now, see what they do late night tomorrow night at midnight against Colorado State. They win this one, and I think that they are back. I think they're back in the field, and we've got that 6-bid Mountain West if that happens.
Yeah, I think so too.
Whereas Salika, I think Utah State, San Diego State may not be for a bid, but I think that could be a great game there up top.
My guess is San Diego State and Colorado State are going to be the ones that end up moving on. But as we've seen with other bubble teams falling, New Mexico probably the most to play for right now.
That's it. That's all the action from today. That's all the action that's coming up tomorrow. Let's jump over to our Hoops HD survival board. First question is, did it work and is it showing up on the screen?
Yes.
There it is. Heading into the day today, we had 155 teams left with a shot to win it all. As a result of today's action, we are left with, drumroll please, down to 114. And actually, since we started the show with the, I believe it was the Big West game go file, it's actually at 113 teams now left to win it all. We're going to go drop under 100 tomorrow, Griggs. We're getting close.
I know. So again, and all these teams tomorrow, we're going to be looking at all of them when we resume our mock committee, one way or another. So,
and let's take a quick look here as we look at the survival board. Again, since the committee was so busy eating ice cream all day, I think.
Yeah, and watching MASH
movies and reruns, and
when they were trying to decide who was in, they need to go here and look at what color team.
Blue. If they're in blue, that means they're in, and that's why it's helpful. They don't have time to do all this themselves.
And if they're thinking about any of these teams that are in red, they're thinking about LaSalle for an at-large bid.
Oh well, no,
they're in red.
Yeah, right. I mean, this board. That's why they need to look at this board. They'll realize, oh, they're in red. We can't do that. Yeah, it does the thinking for them.
If they're thinking about some teams that are listed to auto bid only, for example, if they're thinking about maybe an East Carolina at-large bid, this tells them no, auto bid only.
Only auto bid. You need to at least be a little bit aware of them until they're eliminated. But auto bid only.
But the big question, they come to this board and they're talking about. We mentioned earlier Seton Hall that with the loss today, and they said, they lost today. They had a pretty good season. Are they in or are they out? We want to go eat some more ice cream. Let's just have the board tell us what happens when they come here and they see them in green.
Well, we're not going to tell them that one. That's one they're going to have to decide for themselves.
So no ice cream.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it's tough being on the committee.
They got to do a little bit of work here. Maybe they can eat ice cream while they debate it.
Yeah, maybe they could eat ice cream while they debate. Yeah.
Let's jump back over here and go to our top 10. This is our top 10 things to see at college basketball games. We've been counting these down. We had some honorable mentions. We got down to number 4 last night. But our honorable mentions were the Hornets Nest Trophy.
Yeah.
The Kennesaw Banana.
Yes.
Love this guy.
Love that.
Keggy the Keg.
Yeah, I love him too. Best mascot ever.
And the wonderful, perfectly straight sidelines in Bangor, Maine.
Yeah, the best court ever. Looks like it was drawn by like a little too much coffee painting it that morning.
At number 10, we saw the Detroit Book Guy. He's reading that Clive Cussler novel still. At number 9, we saw Rocco Miller.
Rocco Miller,
every game.
National treasure right there.
At number 8, Red Panda, another national treasure.
Another national treasure. We're trying to get John Titel to get an interview with her. What? Yeah. Wow.
Number 7.
And Andre, that's game! And that will be game! And that will be game! And that's now build that first win!
It's Caleb and Andre, the Mississippi Valley State broadcasters.
These guys are global treasures, not just national treasures.
Refs watching TV. We could see that every game. We just
not a national treasure.
Yeah, not a. If you the end of the Florida Georgia game, you got to see this a lot. Yeah,
just take a look.
Dog cracking on the floor.
Yeah, that
is a local treasure.
Yeah.
And at number 4, last night we saw our favorite halftime show, even more so than Red Panda. It's the Big Sky Floor Sweepers,
and that's why the Floor Sweepers are ranked ahead of Red Panda. I mean, what these guys do is far more entertaining.
Number 3, it's time. Let's have a drum roll. Number 3 thing to see at a college basketball game, according to Hoops HD, is the giant Conference USA curtain. It is beautiful. It's
It was-
gorgeous.
yes. It was the most innovative idea ever. Like, it's how do we get all these games together? It's like, let's put it in a football stadium, have a curtain in the middle of it, and have a game on each side, and the fans you couldn't go through the curtain, but you could go around it. This is probably one of the most sought after artifacts in sports history. This curtain.
This was, very upset the Conference USA
It's not
is no longer doing the curtain. They're no longer having the simultaneous games. But this curtain, absolutely amazing. You got to go and find it. You got to go and see
yeah.
it.
They
was
got to
at-
bring it back. It
bring
was
back the
great.
curtain.
Yeah,
Hashtag bring back the curtain.
Yeah, bring back the curtain.
Let's go to the final thoughts. Salika.
We've only got 2 more days, and I am very anxious to see who's going to crack the top 2 right here.
It will be exciting to find out. Griggs.
Again, Thursday at championship week, it was just kind of a gem. It did not disappoint. It only comes around once a year. How about the A10? I just can't get over how entertaining that one has been. And if VCU does get through, and we're speculating that they would be 13-ish, the way they've been playing, that's not an easy out.
No, yeah, they've been playing real well. We'll see what happens. The way it's been going, we're going to see a Duquesne St. Joe's championship game, though. So who knows?
Yeah.
But on that note, on behalf of John Sleek and David Griggs, I'm Chad Sherwood. Thanks for joining us. We're back again tomorrow night with our second to last of these video notebooks. Talk to you again real soon.